and we should know the identity and we should know where it resides, where that data resides. So if it is required, in the case of emergency, it can be fetched. But usually we need not to create a repository of all the visitors with the health data.
Okay.
So you are having a connected system, and you are connected, and you can get relevant information at the right time.
Okay. So the second aspect is the relevant model data itself. So there are multiple mathematical models when you're talking about training AI and all. We have to be able to store these models itself somewhere. So that is point number one.
Yes.
That is the behavioral model of a specific digital twin.
Right.
The second part of the digital twin is the structural model. So we may be having some 3D models.
Right.
So which will occupy pretty, decent storage. For these model storage, we may need some data storage in the Sangam platform, don't you think?
Yes, that may be required, and there may be multiple variants of the model. For example, there are 20 data sources, and there may be one model which is trained with 20 data sources, but there may be one model which is trained with 19 data sources. Why it is so? Because 20th is demanding irrationally. If that model will be used where he has contributed, then some rate cards will be there. So if that person wants to use muscle power, then how to control that? So if you are having two models, one with the 20 data sources and another with 19 data sources. So if rate cards are different and quality is not much compromised, it may happen that the customers may like to go with the 19 data source model, because if you are taking 20th data source, it is becoming costlier. So there may be rate cards for a variety of models where you have enriched with more data sources or with less data sources. And even with the same 20 data sources, there may be a recently trained model with a recent data aging. So there may be multiple products. You have to keep that repository, and you have to keep the rate cards for that. So then only market will function. And when you are keeping that model, you have to come up with some token or some blockchain or some other technology that access to that model is with the consent or as per the agreement, as per the agreement that who have contributed in creation of that model. Any other question? Yeah. Yes, please.
Simplify it a little.
Give.
Yes. Yes, just to reiterate on the same question and just to maybe understand a little bit simpler, on a spectrum from yes, it will be a bottleneck storage for, let's say, the model itself or the visual representation, the 3D data, up until the other extreme where it's not really you can go all in and store as much as you can, because that will allow us to have better visual representation, because that's usually the bottleneck. Or you can also have more data stored. So in this spectrum of it is going to be a bottleneck, you're going to have to optimize a lot, versus no, you can actually go a lot, we want to do this. Where do you think we'll be able to accommodate our solutions?
The question is not clear to
okay,
me.
sorry. So, no, so his question was basically...
Means if there is a repository of model,
yes,
and no data is available at a centralized location, data is with the data custodian, then what is the issue? What is the question?
No. So if I get his question right, it's to about storage of the model itself as well as the visual representation.
So it is a tough task to store the models.
It requires a lot of resources is what his question was, if I understand right. Because the algorithms...
I'm not sure whether it will require a lot of space to store the model. So, but but if there is a federated digital twin, sectoral related information will be stored at a sectoral level. So for example, there is a city digital twin. So we will not be storing cities digital twin, geospatial twin. We will be sourcing from somewhere. So there is a place where you can source in Hyderabad's geospatial digital twin. So we won't be storing.
Okay.
So why that storage will be huge?
Understood.
So you are having a interconnected systems, and respective sectors are taking care of themselves. You are getting connected with them, and when required you can fetch that information.
All right.
That piece of information.
All right. So it will be decentralized. So it wouldn't be a worry then.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So the orchestration will be done by a national core fabric.
All right. All right. So here, that is exactly what this effort is, to bring together this network to be able to source data more efficiently.
Right.
All right. Okay, sir. Understood.
Right. Yes.
Good evening. I have a question, and depending on the answer, a follow-up question. Does Sangam have a specific definition of what a digital twin is? And if so, what is that?
So that should be the part of Sangam participants' role. What is the definition of Sangam Digital Twin? And we have made presentations that what we mean by digital twin. So there are three things which are required. One is a geospatial twin. Geospatial twin means what exists today, and exists today in terms of the bare earth and built environment. So built environment and bare earth means elevation models and terrain model and scene models plus built environment. So that we will not be working on that piece. Already Department of Science and Technology, Survey of India, they are doing this stuff, and there is a geospatial policy, and this work is being carried out. We'll leverage that. On top of that, there is how to sync up what is happening. So for what is happening, for that purpose, you may require IoT stuff, and even without IoT, you can cover many things, like we are doing in case of a telco data, that how city moves. So there is no IoT sensor, but you can discover how city moves. What is the requirement of the city, what the intent of the people in particular cluster, that we can discover. On top of that, what if scenarios? What next? What if? For that purpose, simulation models are required. Simulations stuff is required, and digital twin is required. So all these three things should be there. When
Well,
we are
yes, but you've still not defined what a digital twin is at its simplest level.
So,
You mentioned that it is
You need not to-
geospatial
you-
and we have layers on that.
we need not to start with the definition. We
I'm
have
sorry,
started.
with due respect, I do not believe so.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Pardon? Can you repeat your comment?
I said, I'm sorry, with due respect, I do not believe so. I believe that if we are working an initiative to build something for our nation
Yeah.
as a digital twin, we must know what the concept of digital twin is.
Yeah. So I will come to you. So thank you for your comments. Important in the journey is that when you are starting from the imagination, if you are defining, then you are restricting in the imagination, yourself in the imagination. So we have started from the imagination, and next stage is exploration, and the third stage is the realization. And when you reach to that level, then you articulate that what is the specific you will be looking, and the people who will be joining after that, they should be clear that what it is about. And the standardization will also come at that stage. We are not focusing on the standardization and interoperability. People are commenting that it is important, and we acknowledge that it is important, but we need not to start from that stage. So when you are doing any imagination, you don't start from the definition.
Yeah, I think You said it very well. I think the beauty about this initiative is that this is a self-emerging process. And when you have a self-emerging process, this is also a very physical phenomena. You don't need definition to begin with. The definition emerges out of the initiative, out of the different experiments, out of the deliberation. I think that's what what he's trying to say.
All right. Thank you so much. That does answer.
See, I look at it in a slightly different way. Unfortunately or fortunately, the problems that we are staring right now, they are not those classical textbook problems. These are real ground-hitting problems which require a mix of a tech process and a host of other things to come along there. If the problems are not textbook or well-defined, it's okay to have a slightly fuzzy definition of the solution or a twin that we are talking about. We will evolve together in the process and eventually solve those issues with this amalgamation or Sangam there. I think that's what's important. Making things real and practical on ground and hitting the impact. That to me is more critical. In due course, we will frame our own definition. We will refine, define and solidify this definition. This will happen in due course.
Thank you so much. So what I understand is we are at a very nascent stage when it comes to both the acceptance as well as the implementation will be the third stage of our process. Is that right?
See, I think that's where it's coming across.
Yes.
I mean,
Thanks
stage
so
2
much.
is the POC and then the implementation. So it's not like tomorrow we are going to implement anything.
Right. Thank you so much.
Sir, I have a few questions. Hello. This side. So you're talking about the federated digital twin, especially Sangam is looking for federated digital twin. According to the federated learning, it's a decentralized mechanism. There are two concepts are there, vertical and horizontal federated learning. So here we are looking for the vertical or horizontal, or we are going for hybrid related Sangam.
For?
The complete architecture of the Sangam.
Yeah.
The federated learning consists of two type of models.
Yes.
One is the horizontal federated learning, vertical federated learning. Suppose I will give a small example. There are two hospitals are there in a particular city. Hospital A, Hospital B might specialize with one hospital specialized for the heart operations, and one is going to be specialized for the liver. Patient is same. Patient is suffering for both the diseases. That's the way. If suppose you have so many verticals are there, you have environmental information is there, you have telecom data is there, and you have disaster management data is there. How we can make it feed it to the Sangam?
So whether health use case team would like to answer this?
So it's a very valid question. I think that was the core of our discussion today, and we have come up with a slide also for that. So yeah, I think you are right. We'll have both vertical and horizontal. So the long answer short. So for somebody who is creating a digital twin of a heart, somebody who is creating a digital twin of a liver or a gut or something like that, they will definitely need that specific data. And once all of these things are integrated to a platform like Sangam, a Sangam health platform, if I'm allowed to say, then that health platform could be later connected to a bigger platform, which is a Sangam general architecture. And that's where the other verticals will come in, the transport vertical, the environment, the disaster, and so on and so forth. So that's the answer.
Yeah, I just wanted to add it here that even for a particular use case like transport as a use case, right? The data set what we are getting is a varied data set, right? So data what we are getting from telcos is going for a horizontal federation. The data which is coming from an environment is going to be very different data there. There the vertical federation will come into picture. Otherwise the model performance will go for a toss there. So we are talking about the combination of both horizontal and vertical federation, even for a particular use case.
So what I understood is that architecture is flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You wanted to ask?
Sir, in the vertical template of presentation, there is one column
which or a particular entry that come up with some expected cost. How to arrive that I have no clue and everybody is asking me. Like how we can give the, the commercial of POC or.
Okay. If we
Can
would
you
have
throw some
known that, we would not, we are not asked for that. So we will discuss tomorrow, and we can also discuss after this. It is difficult, but it is important. So if you can have a better idea or you can have a range, even that will work. So you cannot be precise, but if you have a range, then it will help us. So it may be in two parts. One is that in the beginning, experimental setup is to be established, and where multiple use cases will be developed. And then means it will be used in a pool. So you need not to be very precise. Means if some errors, margins are there, then that will be taken care of. Yeah, just a minute. Again, please.
Please take his question.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Someone is asking.
Yes, please.
How are we ensuring the safety and the security of the data? Because we are talking of federation. We are opening up the doors to external people to use the data that we've collected. And two questions. One is the flood of data. If suppose the natural calamity or something, everyone would want to access that particular department. For example, a GHMC or when there's a traffic jam or something, right? How do we ensure that that system doesn't collapse because of external users trying to access that system for reads? Second thing is we see a lot of ransomware attacks and all that happening. How about the security which is built into the system? I know we can give a read-only access or whatever, but still one security lapse can lead to a complete federated system going down. What are security measures built into the system?
So what we have discussed this in the one of the session which is related to data governance session. You can classify into two parts. One is the trusted source. For example, when we are taking data from telcos, who are the big players, and they are generating data, they are not from the networks, and it cannot be erroneous because network functions on the basis of this data. It is requirement for their operations. So we can rely with that. And the question comes when we are considering crowdsourced data or some app data, then we need to take care that it is not influencing, it is not poisoning the data, or there is no bias. For that purpose, we need a governance framework. Before onboarding them, or we need to monitor on a regular basis. So that was discussed as a part of the data governance framework, and for that we will have a separate recommendation, and we will also have some utilities and tools to monitor this, that it will influence significantly. If you combine this data, what is the output without combining data, and what is the output when you consider that data? So how to monitor that, and how to examine it and control it if it is influencing.
Okay, so thanks for addressing that. But one more part is whenever there is, say, rains, cities flood, everyone would want to access that particular department.
Right.
And how do you ensure it scales to the need? And then once the rain is over, there's no necessity for us to access those systems. Right. So how do you address the scalability at that point in time? And at the same time, it is time bound. Yeah. If I'm able to scale after 2 hours, there's no point. I have to scale when we get a forecast or when the incident happens.
So to scale up, how the advanced or a future generation network helps, how they will be helping, because they are pervasive and they have a edge computing. So edge computing will play an important role when you want to scale up. So that we will be covering, and I have one slide that how future generation networks will take care of the scalability of the digital twin networks. So how gaming engine architectures will be helping to scale it up. So we are discussing that how gaming engine architecture can be built as far as delivery network is to be designed. So how advanced communication networks will help in delivering and making it scalable.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Come in, sir.
A very good evening, everyone. Welcome to the mid-plenary meet of this two-day networking event of Sangam-Digital Twin Initiative, organized by Department of Telecom in the T-Hub, Hyderabad. So today we have with us Shri Jayesh Ranjan, IAS, Special Chief Secretary of Information Technology, Electronics and Communications, Government of Telangana, for this plenary. Thank you, sir, for being here. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite Shri Asit Kadyan, DG from Department of Telecom, for giving a brief overview about the Sangam Digital Twin Initiative.
Thank you, Kumar. So just I will brief about the initiative. I have just 5 slides and I will not take more than 10 minutes. So Sangam Digital Twin is with AI-driven insight was floated sometime in February by Department of Telecom. And the purpose of this initiative is to revolutionize future planning and designing of infrastructure. And it is leveraging advanced telecommunication and computational technologies to achieve this. So when we discuss about the infrastructure planning, there are 3 problem areas what we have identified. One is of imagination, and second is of ideation, and third is of iteration. So imaginations are limited because we have a limited access to the data. So we can't imagine in an unlimited manner because access is limited. Second is that experimental iterations are either too few or not too far or not in depth because it is a costly affair, especially in infrastructure sector. And third is that there are no feedback loops, so we can't do mid-journey corrections and learnings don't pass from one project to the. But we need to rethink and reimagine in a tech-ed era when advanced communication technologies and computational technologies are available. So this initiative is banking upon, and it is privacy by design, and it is for allowing access to data and allowing full access to the data. Digital by design, and by that it enables a data-led decision making. And third is that collaborative by design, it enables for discovering an optimal solution. So when we are discussing about digital twin, it is a mimicking of real world. It is counterparts of real worlds are available in a digital world. And in this we are creating, means there will be availability of replica of what exists today, and what exists means bare earth and built environment, and then sync up what is happening just at this moment. And third is that what if scenarios or what next. So scenario planning can be done, and that is important from the perspective of the for a planner. So all this initiative is about a better decision making, and because it enables for a contextual understanding. So it brings better observability, measurability and controllability. You can see the past, be inspired and informed by the past, and you can rehearse the future and care for the future. How that can be done using the digital twin. But there may be some situations where there is no analogy to the past. In that case, it may be difficult or it may be hard to envision the future on the basis of the past. In those cases, you have to look elsewhere for the judgment. And once this controllability or observability or this is available, but another issue comes up, and which is clear from discussions in the breakout session, that there is a circle of concern, means wide range of concerns may be there. We are not capable to influence that. So influencing power is with somebody else, and control is with somebody else. How this initiative or this platform can help in empowering citizens and empowering the relevant stakeholders to influence and address their concern. This one slide indicates that how future generation communication networks will be helping in this initiative. If you see this beautiful picture, it is a 3D object. So one will think that it requires a lot of bandwidth to deliver this to a remote location. But actually, only need one SMS. It's a mathematical language which is to be signaled to the another edge, and computation will happen on the basis of this mathematical equations, and these colorful objects will be created. And this picture and this arrangement is useful for a multi-party collaboration. So if people are manipulating the objects and discovering various scenarios, it can be done at the edge, because it is just a mathematical function that you rotate this object. So rotation of this object is also a function, and that can be constructed at the edge. And this Sangam initiative is a 3-stage. We started from the imagination stage, then we are currently in the exploration stage, and after this stage we will be entering into the realization stage. So with that, I conclude, and thank you, sir, for joining this event. We will be, sir, we would like to listen to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation on the overview of Sangam. So, Shri Jayesh Ranjan is an IAS officer of the 1992 batch, and sir was the All India topper of his 1992 IAS batch as well. He has done his master in psychology from Delhi University, business management from New York, the University of Singapore. His assignments here as the Special Chief Secretary in the IT-ENC department involve policy frameworks, attracting new investments, identifying opportunities for utilizing IT in government processes, promoting digital empowerment of citizens. Sir has worked in diverse sectors like natural resources and various social development sectors, and has supported many social, cultural and charitable causes like Save a Child's Heart Foundation, Young Lives India, World Wildlife Forum Fund, and so on. So I would like to invite Shri Jayesh Ranjan IAS, Special Chief Secretary IT&C, on the stage for his special address.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Shri Asit Kardianji, Kumudji, Mr. Sharan, all the participants. First of all, my sincere apologies. I was supposed to have come at 2:30, but there were some other programs during the day. And actually I have come at a time when, as per your session plan, your session is over. At 4:30 you are supposed to be outside having tea and calling it a day. It's already 4:39, so I don't want to give any long speech. But I just want to tell you that I'm happy that this interaction as a part of Sangam is taking place here in T-Hub. Kumuji told me that they have already done this in Bombay, Delhi and Bangalore, but happy that you have included Hyderabad also, because this is also a very buzzing city with lots of creativity, lots of talent, lots of entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm happy that you are doing it here in T-Hub. This is the epitome of everything that I mentioned. I will just tell two small points. See, one is that as a government also, we are very keen to adopt the latest technologies, the most useful technologies, and give entrepreneurs who are homegrown, who are from Telangana, a very easy way to participate in government projects, government initiatives. We are a state where our IT policy, our startup and innovation policy is greatly recognized. We are considered to be one of the best in the country. We have a feature in our startup and innovation policy that if a homegrown startup has a solution which is of relevance to the government, we can procure it bilaterally. There is no procurement process although. If you tell us that this is a solution I have created, my team sits in Hyderabad, I am the founder from Hyderabad, or Telangana rather, and this particular government agency can benefit from this particular solution, we'll be very happy to adopt it without running any kind of procurement process. There will be no bids, no tenders. You don't have to lower your pace to outbid someone. You can just tell us commercially what it takes to develop it. And I can share this with you with lots of pride that in the last 10 years or so, we have given 60 plus such opportunities to homegrown startups. So it's not just on paper that we tell and nothing happens on the ground. So I'm mentioning it to all of you because digital twin is also something which we find to be very fascinating. I don't know if anyone from Hexagon is here or not. So they will be aware about it. At our request, at the request of Telangana government, they created a digital twin. There is a very famous monument here, a very historical monument. See, many of you would be aware that Hyderabad is a historical city, 450 years of history. So the first dynasty which ruled Hyderabad is the Qutub Shahi dynasties. There were 7 emperors there who are called the sultans, and all of them, the 7 sultans, their family members, they are all buried in a particular complex which is called the Qutub Shahi complex. And obviously these are 400 old plus years old mausoleums. So obviously just through sheer passage of time, they have got into repair. The government has decided to repair all of them, renovate them, make them look attractive and beautiful. And we have a partner who is willing to fund it and get it done. So we requested Hexagon to create the digital twin of one of the most prominent and most visible tomb in that complex, the tomb of the 3rd Sultan. And I was present when there was a small ceremony in which they gave us the digital twin version, and it was also displayed, and it was really amazing the way they have captured the digital twin. But more than that, more than the technology, possible usage of that twin. So when you are doing the repairs, you can without even going inside, you can understand the tomb in its total perspective. If you put a beam there, what will be the weight gain? If you do something here, what will happen? What kind of bricks are there? What kind of masonry is there? So normally, as you know, as compared to building a new house, handling a heritage structure has its own responsibilities and restrictions. You can't randomly put plaster or bricks or anything there. So I found this to be a very useful exercise, particularly for heritage and conservation architects, on how to approach that building. And exactly as what Ashish ji was telling, there is also lots of what if kind of scenario. What if, let us say, ray comes from a particular angle. Earlier there used to be a hole here in this dome. Suppose I close, will it get flooded? So lots of these kind of predictive analysis, lots of these what if scenarios, worst case scenarios. Sometimes, of course, Hyderabad is not in any hurricane or in a very kind of, it's not close to the coast. It's not close to the coast. There's cyclone or anything, but suppose heavy winds come, what happens? Lots of these worst case scenario predictions were made. So a tool which we found to be very, very useful. And again, I'm happy to share with you You will be aware that, as many of you would know, there's a new government in our state. 6 months ago, 7 months ago, there is a new government. One of the flagship programs which they have taken up is to rejuvenate this Musi River. So Musi River, as those of you who live in Hyderabad would know, it's not even a river in the conventional sense. I mean, technically it is a river, but the water flow and the land availability is totally shrunk. But the Chief Minister is very keen. He has seen many examples across the world on how water bodies have rejuvenated the city. How can you create recreational opportunities, commercial opportunities, and entertainment, etc., and also give a very hygienic, very ambient kind of an experience of good quality water, clean water flowing. So many engineering works will now start for all kinds of things. Somewhere the slope will be changed, somewhere some embankment will be created, somewhere the flow will be diverted. Then, of course, on the shore, lots of these entertainment plazas, this, that will happen. So we are about to commission, we have not announced it publicly, but we are about to commission digital twin for the entire 55 kilometers of Musi River and the surroundings, so that tomorrow whichever agency takes that responsibility and whatever he proposes, we can visualize what exactly is going to happen. And there are many other opportunities in life sciences, human health, teaching, skilling, and so on and so forth. We are also, some of you live in Hyderabad would know this. One other new initiative is the government has introduced is to modernize many of our skilling institutions. Engineering skills are typically given by institutions which are called IIs, polytechnics, etc. So there also, there is a determination. There are 65 of them in the government's domain, government's ambit. There is a determination to modernize the labs of all these ITIs and teach them new generation technologies like AR, VR, robotics, and we are determined to introduce a short curriculum on digital twins also. So lots of opportunities are there, and I'm very happy that all of you are going to participate in this exercise, which is organized by DOT. So since one you would have been told about the way the program is rolling out, you are in the first stage now. There will be some shortlisting, there will be another round of scrutiny, then some of them will be selected, they will be supported further. But in general, I can tell you that I encourage you and wish you well to go through this entire process. But regardless of the outcome, you may get into the second stage, you may get into the final stage, you may become the winner, which will be very encouraging and great for all of us. But even if you fail to, but if you are a homegrown company and enterprise which has its physical presence here, its footprints here, please see us bilaterally. We'll be very happy to take help from you in so many other initiatives also, where we feel digital twin can be a healing technology, very useful technology. So stay connected with us. We will supplement what the Sangam exercise comes up with the help of DOT. But in parallel also, we'll be happy to bilaterally engage with you and do something useful and creative for our city. So this is the one thing which I particularly wanted to come, and therefore when I told them that 2:30 is not working out for me, I can come around 4:30, and when they showed this flexibility, that fine, we will detain the participants, we'll make them available. I knew that I'm really kind of imposing myself, but I thought that it will be important if I come and pass this message, that if you're doing something with digital twins and if you are a homegrown kind of a company, please work with us. So once again, good wishes to all of you. May you do well in Sangam. And thank you, Asitji and Komoji, for organizing this event in Hyderabad and for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and also for sparing time from your very busy schedule for us at this Sangam networking event. So now I would like to request Shri Asad Kadyan, sir, to kindly give a token of thanks to Shri Jayesh Ranjan, sir, and please offer a plant to sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sparing time for this event.
We can continue for a few minutes with the question and answer session if there are more questions. Otherwise, we can have a tea break. Any questions? No. I think we can have a tea break. Same area, we can have a tea break. So just join. I think.
Tomorrow morning, we will be starting at 9 o'clock. We will be having the moderator presentations in the morning at 9. Yes, not only the moderators, other people should also be present. And after that, from 10 to 12, we will be having the main outcome event of this networking event. So I would like to request you all to please, get into discussions. If you want to stay for a little more time, you can stay and have discussions and try to conclude by tomorrow morning. From 10 to 12, we will be having additional Secretary Telecom who will be coming and gracing the event. So after that also we will be having discussions which can be incorporated in the outcome document. But yes, we will be having the main presentation tomorrow morning. Right. Thank you all. Request you all to please proceed. Outcome document, we will be releasing the draft outcome document during the 10 to 12 a.m. tomorrow. And that will be a draft document which will keep evolving, and for around a week or so we will keep it open, and after that we will be closing it after finalizing and getting inputs from all.